Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the NJCourts TV news channel. I am your host this afternoon, NJCourts, and we are broadcasting remotely live today from the scene or the site of last Friday's mass shooting, which occurred here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, which for most of you that know or follow me, know that this is my hometown, where I was born and raised and where I'm currently residing while I'm staying at my parents'. I started this coverage the night of that we found out about this news. As a matter of fact, that night we went straight to a news conference that was put on by the city, as you know, including the fire department, some representatives, including the city chief, the mayor, the chief of police, and some other representatives that discussed at that time what had been going on. Well, since that update, a lot of things have changed. Arrests have been made. Sadly, we can confirm that 3 lives were taken from this incident and 15 people were injured. So just in case you hadn't found out, yes, to confirm, 3 people died from this shooting, with about 15-ish people being injured, and some serious injuries too. You know, just because they're injured doesn't mean they didn't get shot. Most of those injuries include people that were shot. They just weren't life-threatening injuries. But good morning, everybody. I'm going to take some time for the notification to go out. I want to say hi and good morning to everybody. I am just setting up right now, but I got everything pretty much ready to go. In addition to this being a remote broadcast, I am testing out some of the equipment that I've purchased that we're going to be using on our IRL stream or road trip in California. So, for example, although you may not see it right now, I'm utilizing my tripod, not the gimbal, and I'm also utilizing my Rode microphone. So hopefully the audio is a lot better for you guys. We're still on the S25 Ultra, so right now I'm streaming at 720, but we can go 1080, although I think for streaming purposes 720 is perfectly fine. And if we ever go to an area where we don't have the best connection as far as data connection, 720 usually lets me get away with still streaming and not having that great a bandwidth. But again, welcome to all my friends, welcome to all the members of the jury, welcome to all the viewers, whether you love me, hate me, or you're somewhere in between. What we're going to be doing this morning, well, it's still morning for me, or afternoon for some of you all. I'm going to be sharing some of the updates that I've gotten from some of the local news channels, as well as the city's website. I'm also going to be sharing the memorial. I'm here at the park, so there's been a memorial that was set up for the victims of this tragedy. I'm going to share that with you. We're also going to walk around the park to give you guys an idea, especially those of you that aren't from this area, which is probably most of you, to kind of give you an idea of what this park looks like and kind of maybe walk through the scenario of what happened, although I'm still new to a lot of the information. I mean, honestly, we could even very well run into some evidence like bullet casings while we're out here walking around, so we'll keep our eyes open. After we finish up with that update, I'm going to finish up today's coverage with doing a small update on Saint. I was able to get some more information in regards to his release conditions, and I'm going to share that information with you. As a matter of fact, it gets pretty interesting as far as what's going on, and I'm pretty damn sure that's probably why you haven't seen him live once. So I'll be sharing that with you guys kind of towards the end of this update. It's not going to be anything too long. As a matter of fact, this is also, you can consider like a walk and talk. So we're doing a remote broadcast, walk and talk, and court updates all at the same time. Welcome to the NJCourts TV channel. But good morning, everybody in chat. Good morning, Sicilian Princess. Good morning, Steph L09. Good morning, Sunshinery. Good morning, Dawson. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. All right, so let me get I think I'm all, for most part, set up. Oh, one other thing I want to share with you guys. I just picked this up this morning. As a matter of fact, I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I don't know if I had mentioned this when I was kind of discussing some of the equipment that I was going to be getting or was considering getting for my trip. Well, I think I told you guys that I was going to start doing a journaling type of log or book, you know, to kind of journal my adventures and trips while I'm out in California. I think I already shared that with you. Well, I want to be able to put pictures, colored pictures, and I want them to be like old school vintage style. So look what I scored, man. And here's what's even better. I got a good deal on it because the packaging was a little damaged. So not only did I get a good deal already, but I got an even better deal when I went to go pick this up today because I had a little damage on the packaging and I asked for a discount. So let me flip you guys around and I'm going to show you exactly what I got. And then we'll start with some news. I've got the Fujifilm Insta X Mini 40. So for some of you that don't know what this bad boy is, yes, it is a bulky ass camera, but it's supposed to be like that. This bad boy is capable of shooting pictures and printing them out on a Polaroid type of film. Doesn't require any type of, special anything. You just, film comes out and it's ready to go. You don't even have to shake the picture like you used to back in the old days. But for some of you that remember the old Polaroids, yep, they're coming back. So I got me an old Polaroid to take some pictures. As a matter of fact, we're going to try out our first picture. I'm going to take one of the memorial, and that's going to be my first picture ever on this camera, as well as the first picture I'll be putting in one of my journals. Yeah, it gives it that old school look. It also has got a selfie mode. I'll show you here in a second. As a matter of fact, we'll take the picture now so that I can put this back in the car and I'm not walking around with this, because you guys know how I am. I'll probably end up dropping this and not even taking a second picture before it breaks. But let me flip you guys around. Let's start off with the memorial really quick. So, oops, sorry. All right, so we're going to walk up a lot closer. Oops, give me 1 second. Trying to figure out all right, there we go. That zoom in mode. So they've got actually a couple memorials. They've got one here. They've got like another one set up over there. So this is the main parking lot to this park. This is called Young's Park. We're going to walk around here in a second. They've got a beautiful pond down there, but there is just one main parking lot for this park. Now, once you get down towards the west part of the park, you can start parking around kind of the edges of the park. But as far as accessing the main entrance, that's here through this main parking lot. Now, one thing I want you to start noticing is you've got a lot of these city workers out here now. Well, here's what they're doing. They're actually working on securing and putting these gates that a lot of people are now complaining that should have been already put up, and that could have possibly, and again, I'm not going there, but there is a possibility that this whole incident could have been avoided had these gates that the city's installing now been up, because technically this unsanctioned car show was happening after hours. This park closes at around sundown, and we'll check. They've got a sign here that's going to tell you what time the park closes at. But either way, this unsanctioned event, which the city and the police are calling it unsanctioned at this time, okay? We still can't verify if that's technically, if this was an unsanctioned event, okay? But right now, the city and the police are calling it an unsanctioned event, and they said that it was taking place at this park when the park was closed. Well, had these gates been working, they would have been able to close the park and not allow the over 200 people that were at this park Friday night, okay? There was a massive car show going on in this parking lot. You see these tire marks? These kids they weren't just parking here and being peaceful, okay? They were burning rubber, they're doing the spin outs, and that's the other thing, right? The police chief claims during that the first news conference that there was no police presence here, basically kind of saying like, we didn't even know this event was going on until the shooting happened. Well, I want to show you something. There's a main street right here. There's probably one of our biggest main streets that runs north and south right there. And you've got a whole community and neighborhood that surrounds this park, including a middle school right there. You're telling me with 200 people and this whole parking lot filled, that not one person complained or called the police Friday night to let them know that there was a big event going on in this parking lot? So where I'm going with this, folks, and the reason I started this investigation is I have a feeling there's going to be a couple of lawsuits that are going to be filed, more specifically from the families of the victims and the families of the people that were injured. And the reason I think these lawsuits are going to be coming into play is I think there was a lot of basically mistakes and things that could have been prevented by the city and police, that possibly had those things been put in place, this incident could have been possibly prevented. That's all a lawyer needs to prove, is negligence, and that, the police knew about this event. And for example, why didn't these gates get put up? Why are they barely getting put up now? And unfortunately, that's the way things go in our country, right? People complain, people say, hey, you should probably do this, it might prevent that. Nothing gets done until a tragic, incident happens, and then shit gets done. And I don't like that. I feel that we should have been able to prevent this tragedy, and that's why I'm out here, okay? I took a whole weekend to really just sit down and think about this, and it upsets me. It upsets me that 3 lives were lost. It upsets me that a lot of people were injured, and these are all teenagers, okay? The kids that lost their lives were all under the age of 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I got the notes in my car, and I'm going to refer to those here in a second. But basically, a lot of young kids lost their lives and got injured from an event that I think should have never happened in the first place, is where I'm going with this. But that's my 2 cents. Let's just do a little walk around, and let's just kind of absorb everything around us. But this is one of the memorials that was set up right here. Yeah, and see, here's the thing, Sicilian Princess. Those type of things will be easy to prove, right? They're going to be able to get the call logs from Friday night, okay? So they'll be able to see the call history, whether there was any calls made prior to the shooting happening about this event going on, okay? Even the police chief was saying, I don't want to start putting blame, but the police chief was already starting to say that, you know, this is kind of something that starts going towards the political aspect of how a city's ran, and that basically they're understaffed, and that he doesn't have enough police, and that if he had enough police, he could have had police here for this event. Well, I'm just wondering, you've got 200 people here, and let's just assume, play devil's advocate, they knew about the event. You're telling me you don't have one officer on a Friday night to go and just drive by and see what the hell's going on? I find that really hard to believe. And I feel that that news conference is going to kick the city in the ass. And there's going to be a lot of millions of dollars that's going to be getting paid out from this incident. And guess where that comes from? Doesn't come from the police. Doesn't come from the mayor's pocket. It comes from the taxpayer's pocket. But good morning, everybody. What's up, shits and giggles? What's up, Sapito? Either way, it's a sad incident. Like I said, I don't want to be playing devil's advocate and saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, it happened. We need to move forward. We need to get justice for the victims, and we need to figure out a way to prevent this from ever happening again. Not only in our community, but as an example for other communities around the country and the world, that they do not allow this to happen in their community, and that they learned sadly from our tragic mistake. So there's another memorial, I think, going up here, so we'll walk over there. Before we walk over there, I want to take a picture. Hopefully my camera didn't get stolen. We're going to take a picture really quick. I want to use my new camera. Jesus Christ. See, look, they haven't even cleaned up the parking lot. This is the sad thing about living in a place where marijuana is legal. Just kind of like if you live in an area where there's a lot of alcoholics, and which in New Mexico, unfortunately, we're a state that suffers from a lot of people that are alcoholics and a lot of drinking problems and DUIs and stuff like that. Well, unfortunately, when you go into kind of the poor areas of our cities, like in Albuquerque, you find a bunch of just those little miniature bottles thrown around the ground. As a matter of fact, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is our capital city, they actually banned those miniature liquor bottles just because it was just becoming such a problem with it being just littering everywhere. Well, now, in addition to the liquor bottles, you find these little, all these little disposable containers for all these roaches. Well, actually, we're going to throw this away. It was just an example I'm showing you. That's just what they do. They just chuck it. Look at, somebody even threw some shit in here. I don't know if this was done intentionally, but they threw, they've got disposable. Well, I'm not going to touch it. Hopefully, maybe there's some real pre-rolls in there. But yeah, they left pre-rolls, and I don't know if they're doing that as just a sign, but look, there's roaches. But either way, I don't know if that's trash or if that was meant to, for the homies. And I'm not going to pick any of that up here. But yeah, all you see is just these vape cartridges around, the vape disposables. It's sad, man. All right. But good. Welcome, everybody coming in the chat. Oh, yeah, let's take our picture so I can put my camera back in the car. But yeah, we've got another memorial going up over there. Yoo, it's still here. Cool. What up, Vegan's Pillow? Yeah, I think it's a dedication to the homies, for sure. But I guarantee you, when we walk around, we're going to see a bunch of trash anyway strewn around, from, just like I said. And sadly, our whole city is just starting to get littered with all those plastic containers. I wish the city would help, like maybe give a discount or something, maybe not charge taxes if people bring like their own baggie or, you know, basically their own container, you know, kind of like when you go to Starbucks and you can bring your own like coffee cup to save from using their plastic cups and shit like that. And I don't go to Starbucks, but I believe they give you somewhat of a discount for doing that, right? I don't know. Can somebody in the chat let me know? All right, so let's take a picture. I'm gonna put you guys up. This is why I have you guys on the tripod today, because, for example, if I'm doing a news story, which I'm gonna be doing my live documentary in California, I will have to have you guys on a tripod, and I'll give you an example. So let's go ahead and use this tripod now, so that way you guys can see me take the picture. This is gonna be my first time ever using this camera, so I'm excited. And I get to show you exactly how the picture comes out. See, that's the cool thing about these cameras is for some of us older people, we might not get it as much, but for like the younger kids that never even used one of these before, meaning they've never had to, you know, put in a roll of film and then get it developed, this is like you know, like a toy to them, you know. It's something they've never, like, basically like using a record player, you know. All right, so let me set you guys up on the tripod. I think this thing goes up higher. Okay, let me put you guys down here. Put this down here. I believe this starts going up like that. Yep, here we go. Oh, cool. All right, so you guys are up pretty high. There you go. You're welcome, Steph L09. All right, so we're gonna try our Instapic and take a picture here. I think I'm gonna do the portrait mode, and what I've been told is you don't want to block the little light sensor on here, so they've got a little handle. You put your finger, kind of use this as a guide for your finger, and that's your shutter button right there. So you just point, oh, and then if I'm gonna get close, it's got a selfie mode. So to turn it on, you press this button, that pops up, and then you can pull this out, which I am, and now it's in selfie mode. When you do this, even if you're not gonna take a selfie, it allows you to take a closer picture. I was just reading some tips on the internet, on YouTube, on how to use this camera, because a lot of new timers on this, they screw up their pictures because they don't know how to use it very well. And you know, these pictures are expensive. You know, right now, I'm paying like $1 a picture, $1.25. So I don't wanna fuck them up. All right, let me wait for that person to finish their pictures, and then we'll get a picture with their new Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. So for any of you interested on maybe one of these Insta picture cameras, I'll let you know how it works. Like I said, they're not meant to give you like, you know, high resolution and a clear, sharp picture. As a matter of fact, they're supposed to give you a vintage look. That's the look that you go for with this, and that's what I wanted. Yeah, you gotta be careful not to get your finger in the shutter. Alright, here we go. Let's see how I did. So it's gonna look like that for right now, and then you gotta let it develop. You don't have to shake it or anything. Oh yeah, I do. I'm working on my skullet. I can see your comments, Sapito. All right. Oh, there it is. It's on the other side. I was like, dude, it's not even developing. Here it is. Now, I heard these don't do that great in like really bright light, but I guess we'll learn. I mean, I wasn't like shooting right towards the sun. I had the sun towards my back. But so far, it's looking pretty good. I like it. We'll let it just kind of sit for a bit and develop, and then I'll show it to you in a second. All right. So you just pull that out, and there you go. Exactly. Dr. Phil cut. I would prefer to call it a skullet. All right. So let's put this away. We're done with this. To shut this bad boy back, I think you just got to push this back in. Yeah. And then it shuts off. Tino is here! Tino! I'm actually going to give you... Actually, let's just get the Tino update right now. Tino ain't going nowhere. You guys want to know why? Since there's 45 of you guys in here. Here's your update on Saint. Saint was actually put on a GPS monitor. So Saint's got a little ankle bracelet. So Saint can't go nowhere. Cheers to you, Blop. Here's the follow-up to that news as well. Being that he has to register his, a home address, because, they have to be able to know what his home address is to monitor him at. And being that he can't be in the same residence as the alleged victim of his crimes, which in some of these crimes, it's Magic. It appears that Magic, according to paperwork, again, you guys can access this if you want, it's all public information. It appears that Magic has moved to another address. So basically, in addition to paying over 10 grand in bond money to get this yahoo out and paying for a private attorney, it looks like she went, now maybe she's got family and friends, so I'm not saying this, but it possibly looks like she had to rent another apartment just so she could leave the shit place for a Saint to stay at, and then she's paying rent at a separate place, which it's been my understanding that she also pays rent at the shit place. So imagine that. You're paying rent at two places, possibly. Already paid 10 grand to get your little boy toy out. And maybe after all this is all said and done, it's just going to go back to the same toxic relationship these people were in before all this started. Which I hope it doesn't. I hope that this is the way it's supposed to work, and that this is going to help Saint out, because obviously if he's being monitored because he is on probation, he's on supervised probation, he's probably not allowed to drink, he's probably not allowed to consume drugs, and now he can't be in the vicinity of the victim or the significant other, okay? Which, again, when you have two alcoholics in a relationship and they're both have anger problems, doesn't lead to a good result. And until one of those two starts to work on that problem, nothing's gonna end up, it's just like the definition of insanity, right? So Tino, Saint's definitely not winning, my friend. You can sit there with your little retarded mind and tell yourself all day long, but the facts are facts. Saint right now is just stuck, probably going crazy, because I would imagine being a big-time narcissist, it's just fucking crazy not to be able to go live and show your face to everybody, especially when you just got out of jail, So yeah, hopefully this is going to make him behave, and hopefully it'll make him become a functioning member of society. And it helps everybody. So I hope at some point Tino is going to be winning, but today he's not winning at all. But I'll let you hang out, and again, your opinion is your opinion. We can all agree to disagree, right? That's what makes America great. Sicilian, we don't know. Now, they're not supposed to, and we don't know exactly what's happening, but I don't know. I'm sure most of you could probably assume. Again, I'm not going to make any allegations, but when you've got supervised probation going on, it's going to be kind of hard to hide a lot of those things like they were before in the past. Hence why there's now two separate addresses, and hence why homie's got to wear an ankle monitor now. So there's your Saint update. All right, let's go put this back and let's go walk around the park. Let's see what's going on. I'll show you the other memorial. I'll read you the notes that I have to give you a factual update on the ages of the victims and the ages of the people that are going to be going to court within this next. Well, one of them has already appeared in court yesterday, the one that was over 18. The rest of them, so they arrested 4 people. 3 of those 4 people arrested are minors. The one that wasn't a minor, he went to court yesterday, and they're going to be pushing his stuff into district court. The ones that are minors, they haven't announced any of their information yet. Still waiting on it. But either way, as of right now, they're going to be charging all 4 of them with 3 charges of first-degree murder and 3 charges of conspiracy and possibly some other charges coming. All right. Let me get you guys back into selfie mode. There's a lot of people coming over here now. Let me get out of the way so people can take some time to visit the memorial. All right, we're gonna go for a walk, guys. All right, so we're gonna go to, I'm gonna read you guys the notes on what happened. Let me turn you guys around. And then we're gonna go for a little walk around the park so I can kind of show you guys the park, show you the other memorial, and we'll see, maybe we'll run into some casings. If we do, obviously we're gonna have to call the police and take a picture of it and not touch anything. But with the amount of just, according to what I read, the amount of shots that went on that night, you could very well probably pick up or find a casing right now. Probably their parents, Sicilian, and that's a good question. So here's the thing. That's been a huge problem, not only in our state, but all these other states where you see these mass shootings happen. Where do these minors get the weapons from? Well, a lot of them could be stolen. A lot of them could get them from friends or other people. But for the most part, after a lot of these investigations have been said and done, come to find out the weapon was from the parents, okay? They literally had access to it, all right? So it's this irresponsibility of these parents that are irresponsible gun owners that are allowing these children or minors to basically have free access to weapons. Also, especially if they know that their child may have some mental issues going on or shouldn't even be around a weapon, right? I mean, and I don't know which last mass shooting it was, but I remember specifically the parent had actually purchased, or I don't know if they had purchased, but was very well knew that their child had a weapon and shouldn't even have one. Okay? All right, so I put let me show you the picture. It actually turned out pretty damn good. Look at that, not bad. Again, I told you, it does that vintage look on purpose. It's not meant to give it, a sharp detail look like a smartphone would. Oh, dude, I love this. That was probably the best 75 bucks I ever spent. So now I can put this in my journal. It's a small little picture. I can put a little tape on it, now put it in my journal. Dude, this is the shit. But look, it came out really good for my first picture. Yeah, I like that. All right, so let me read you my notes here. Excuse my chicken scratch. All right, so here we go. So there was a total of 3 people killed, 15 injured. The ages of the people killed were 16, 17, and a 19-year-old. Now, the people that were arrested, there were 4 people that were arrested, a 19-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, and 1 15-year-old. Like I said, the 19-year-old has already been through the court system yesterday, and they're going to be moving their pretty much case out of whatever court was they were heard in yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was probably municipal court. Obviously, because of the seriousness of the case, this is going to be bumped up to district court. So for the individual that's not a minor, they'll probably have a court date probably this week. And here's what I'm going to be doing. Any court dates that are going to be here in Las Cruces, I will be doing my best to try to either attend them. We'll see if I can bring you live coverage, or at the very least, I'll bring you coverage from any of the areas that I can be at or publicly access and bring you coverage from. But I am planning on continuing to bring you guys updates on this whole event, including following up with the court cases of all the individuals that were arrested and that will be tried. It's an old school composition notebook. Harry the Sky notebook. Oh, I actually got a really nice journal. Remember I showed you guys I got them at the dollar store? I already started coloring in them and everything. But let's see, what else did I have? Yeah, that was basically it, because the last time I gave you guys an update, we didn't know they hadn't arrested anybody, and we did know roughly about the number of people that were killed and injured, but we hadn't been able to verify that, and now we are able to verify that. All right, so let's go ahead and go for a little walk, check out the park here and see what's going on. I'm gonna put this picture back in the car so I don't fuck it up. Let's put that in here. All right, I'm gonna take a little sip of my water and we're gonna go for a little walk. Show you guys this park. Now, again, obviously I wasn't here, but from what I've read in the videos that I've seen, I believe the incident and for most part the event took place in the parking lot, right? They said there was over 200 people here. I'm sure this parking lot was probably packed, okay? As you can see all the tire marks and burnouts. Some of those may have been from the event. Some of those may have been from the people that were hauling ass out of here once the shooting started. But it is a very large park, okay? Definitely plenty of room for bullets to fly around and hit innocent people. Like I said, this park is surrounded by homes, by a school. Basically, the whole community is around this park. So I find it very hard to believe that not one call was made about this non-sanctioned car show. So apparently, I guess it started off as a car show. And then allegedly some words got between 2 groups that I guess had already had some past history with each other. I don't know if these are car groups or actual like little gangs or, just groups of friends or whatever. Maybe they're just rivals from 2 different schools, who knows? But either way, an argument ensued between some individuals and then the shooting erupted. So we've got the memorial that was over there. They've placed a memorial over here. Looks like we've got one over here. I wonder if they've got a memorial for each one of the victims, because there was 3 victims. Yeah, we've got pretty lax gun laws, and I'm a big Second Amendment person. I mean, I feel that the gun laws we have are great. I feel they meet all the needs we need right now. We just need more people to be responsible, and we need to crack down on these parents or irresponsible gun owners is what needs to happen. Let's go look at this gate that they're putting in now. Like I said, it's tragic that it took an incident like this for the city to finally put up a gate that should have been put up a long time ago. and that this gate would have most likely been closed and not allowed access for these individuals to come park and basically host an unsanctioned car show, according to the city and the police. Again, what's the definition of unsanctioned? Were the police aware of the event? It just wasn't a permitted event, meaning that the city didn't give a permit to the event holder, but the police were still made aware of it? Because like I said, all it takes is just one of these lawyers to prove negligence, meaning that these police were aware of this event and did nothing to basically win a lawsuit. Got another memorial going up right there. Sad to see all the different memorials, and you can tell a lot of these people are probably very close to these victims. I'm gonna give some privacy for this young girl here. I feel really bad for her. I wonder if that was somebody if that was her relative. But this is now the gate that's going up right now. Dawson, no, I was not thinking about going to this event. There was another car show that I was going to be going to, but it wasn't that one. The one that I was going to go to was already a permitted and planned car show, where you could find it on the event calendar for the city events and stuff like that. But, if I probably would have heard about something like this, like an unsanctioned car show, hell yeah, I probably would have been here on a Friday night if I didn't have anything to do. But this is the gate now that I guess is going to be going up to hopefully prevent this incident from happening. Like I said, unfortunately, we can't go back. We can just move forward. So although I feel this gate's a little too late to be put up, at least it is being put up now. But this is the shit I'm talking about. We need to prevent this from happening by the city listening to the community members and taking action the minute they hear about these issues and problems, not waiting till somebody finally loses their life to finally take action. This happens all the time. How long did it take for the schools to finally lock all their doors up? How many mass shootings did it take? All right, that should have been just a no-brainer. And it's just sad, period, that these type of incidents happen now. Obviously these incidents happen every once in a while when I was a youth, but nothing compared to how frequent these mass shootings are nowadays. Oh yeah, and that's what type of car show it was, these unsanctioned ones, because basically they get busted at any location they go to because it's a lot of people, they're unsanctioned and they're loud, right? So they pull up to a Walmart parking lot, Walmart security is going to call the police, right? So that was kind of the complaint that the police chief was making, that there should have been, they actually had security, they call them park rangers, that are actually going through this program, but that because of lack of funds, they're not able to, I guess, graduate as many rangers as they need, you know what I mean? And basically the police chief was kind of just pushing the fact that, had there been a park ranger here, maybe that could have avoided this incident, things like that. But yeah, obviously those events, get, changed around throughout the night. Locations change. Yeah, I hope, for a little town like us, this is a huge tragedy, We're not a big city. This is going to really affect our city for a long time. Especially because, like I said, I'm 40 years old, I don't go to school, but for these high schoolers, this was 200 high schoolers basically, okay? These kids came from all different types of schools. I can tell you, and get this was the weekend before they all came back from spring break. So, it's just really sad that all these students had to come back to school on Monday after a tragic event like this. And you damn well know that a lot of those people knew all these victims here. And remember, in addition to the 3 people that were killed, you had over 15 victims, people that were shot, okay? When I was reading the newspaper, one of the victims was shot in the back. Another one was shot through his arm. Okay, so these people might be alive right now, but they're going to be going through some major rehabilitation. For most of them, they're not going to be living their life like they used to. You know, a lot of them may not even be able to move their, like the guy that got shot in his arm. He may not even be able to move that arm anymore. So a lot of things have changed, okay? They may not be deceased, but for these other victims, a lot of things have changed in their lives. All right, so let's walk around. I want to show you guys the pond area. Like I said, I think the majority of this tragic event happened up here in the parking lot, but let's just walk around and see if there's any. I don't know if they still have police investigators out here combing the area. I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, I know it's been already a few days, but I'd figured they would probably still have this place taped up. But I think just because, you know, there's a lot of community members that are coming here to view the memorials, I think is obviously why they haven't kept this place closed to the public. So this is the park right here. Young Park. Did a lot of you guys end up seeing some updates in your national news or your local news? I know this made all the national news stations. They were playing the updates throughout the whole weekend, but just in case you guys didn't, and because I did start coverage on this event, I wanted to go ahead and finish up the update on the most recent news. And again, like I said, I am going to be following up on the court cases coming up on the individuals that were arrested, and hopefully I'll be able to follow it through to them pleading guilty and being sentenced. And I hope they're able, and I know I'm going to sound mean, but I hope they're able to try every single one of those, including the youngest kid, as an adult. And I hope they stick that first-degree murder charge on all of them. And I hope they drag their... I hope they... You know what? And I hope that either they do stick something in those parents, or if they can't, that these legislators put some law into play or create a law that now, in legislation, that now starts putting a lot of the responsibility on these parents. So when these kids get sentenced, the sentence mirrors the child, it mirrors the parent. Kid gets sentenced to first-degree murder, parent gets sentenced to first-degree murder. My opinion. Might be a little harsh to some of y'all. So this is the pond here. It is open for fishing. So they do stock it with fish. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I've ever caught a damn fish here my whole life that I've fished this pond. Now, I know the last couple of years I haven't had a very good lucky streak. As a matter of fact, I've had a horrible bad luck streak when it comes to fishing. But even back in the good old days, I still don't think I caught any fish over here. Got all the duck shit, and there's ducks here too. But this is what I wanted to show you guys is, look they're building an apartment complex right there, okay? This park is surrounded by homes, okay? So could you imagine Friday night, you know, hearing rifle rounds go off and multiple handgun rounds go off? Probably scared the shit out of all the residents that live around this park, I'll tell you that. Hey, you too, Loosey Goosey. I hope you have a great day. But it's a beautiful park. Like I said, it's really sad that this park now is going to have in its history as a park this tragic event that will always follow in its history and footsteps. How's the audio, guys? Is it pretty good? I hope it's pretty good. Oh, Sicilian, I will. The only thing that sucks right now, especially with Rio, is he's shedding his winter coat. You know, it's springtime, so he's getting his spring coat. And oh my God, anytime I put him in the car, it's like at least a 2-hour vacuum session when we get home. But yeah, it's a beautiful park. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff here to do for kids. They got fishing for kids and adults. They've got a stage out there when they do events here that they could have live bands going on. They've got a beautiful, what do they call that? Like, there's a name to it, but I just call it an awning, Beautiful little area there with an awning for people to have their parties and big events at. What up, roofer? Yeah, I know. And honestly, Dawson, I'd have to look into what current laws we have right now that they could even try to charge the parents with. That's what I'm saying. If there isn't any, I hope that, that this could be the catalyst to hopefully get the legislation to pass something. There's an officer right there. But trust me, there's going to be a lot more to come. I mean, obviously, you're going to have the prosecution of the individuals that were responsible for this tragic event or incident. And then I think, like I said earlier, you're going to see a lot of civil suits coming into play from the victims of this tragedy. And I think you're going to see a lot of information come out that the news hadn't had a chance to put out yet, or refuses to put out. Possibly. That's really going to show that there was a lot of negligence on behalf of the police department. I really feel it. Like I said, I'm not trying to be that person, but I really do feel that there could have been a lot of stuff done to prevent this. But definitely a little too late. But like I said, it is because of the event, the tragic event happening. But remember, to not let this go in vain. If we can create legislation or prevent another incident like this from happening, I don't think it is too late to do something like that. Yeah, I have a feeling these guys were probably pretty close to one of the victims there. Now, again, I'm not going to even go that route, but unfortunately, you see a lot of the red. You see a lot of the red colors, right? I don't know if that's gang related or what, but I don't know. Again, when you guys were asking, well, what started this? I don't know what the argument started about, but I'm gonna just go off the limb here and say that I have a feeling it was probably gang related, and I think just by seeing the colors of that memorial, you can already just tell. But that's the park. So we got one memorial there, 2 memorials there, 3rd memorial there, and then a 4th memorial there. What's up, Sumi? Oh, we're just here, just doing an update on the here at the location of the mass shooting that took place last Friday in Las Cruces, New Mexico, my hometown, here where I'm at right now. Sadly, 3 people were killed and 15 plus people were injured. No, it doesn't, Dawson. But let's just say if that kid had access to a weapon. Now, knives are a little bit different because knives, technically are legal, especially depending on what type of knife it is. And unfortunately, even a butter knife can do harm. But when I think you're discussing a weapon, I think that especially when a weapon and a minor come into play, I think absolutely the parents should have some type of responsibility or fall under responsibility when it comes to guns. And that's sad too, Roofer. These guys these days, they're just quick to pull the trigger, man. These guys don't even know what fists are anymore. I mean, you realize, in addition to even just the shooting that happened that night, they've got pictures and video of multiple miners that are wielding guns, whether they shot or not. They've got so many people that had guns out that night, they're not even worried about pressing charges against those people, okay? Which is kind of sad and scary at the same time. Yes, we can definitely agree to disagree. That's the great thing about our country. What makes America great. All right, you guys. It is getting hot. I just wanted to share an update with you all. I appreciate everybody coming into the chat. I love when we can have chats like this and for the most part, you know, get along as adults. Like I said, we don't all have to agree and we can all have different opinions. And that's what I really appreciate about our chat. Let me use the tripod here really quick. But I am going to sign out. Oh, I didn't even have my press badge on. I had it tucked under my shirt. Got the press badge too. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys probably sometime this week. Don't forget, this week I believe is EBZ's court hearing, assuming they don't reschedule it. And then I think that pretty much concludes as far as court hearings for March. And then we start our April calendar. But April's going to be super busy because, just in case you forgot already, we've got our IRL California road trip coming up at the beginning of April. And we've got numerous individuals that are going to be having court hearings in April. As a matter of fact, we're going to be covering court hearings while I'm in California. So the coverage does not stop, even when we're on a road trip. But much love to you guys in the chat. Thank you for all my mods for being here this morning and on a late notification. Thank you for all the members of the jury for all your continued support and for being here. And of course, thank you to all the viewers, whether you love me, hate me, or you're somewhere in between. I appreciate all your guys' support and hope to catch you guys on the next one. If I don't see you this week, which I should, I do have a fun IRL scheduled for next weekend. I'm actually really excited about it. I'm actually going to just leave it as a surprise for you guys. But before next weekend, we should have a court coverage update coming up sometime this week. I'd probably say probably on Thursday. Oh yes, I'm going to be very excited. As a matter of fact, hopefully it'll be this weekend, but I'm hoping to do a very exciting unboxing with you guys. Actually, we're going to be having a lot of unboxing going on throughout the next couple of weeks, but I'm very excited for something that hopefully will be coming in the mail this week or possibly next week, and definitely will be unboxing it with you guys, so look forward to that notification. All right, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Like I said, I wasn't. My intentions weren't to do something very long. I just wanted to do an update as far as what was going on with the tragic event that had happened over the weekend on Friday. And of course, you know, we had some updates throughout the weekend. I had updated the community post with an update, but we'll get back to the court stuff this week for sure. And before you know it, we'll be in California. All right, my friends, we'll see you. NJCourts is officially out. I'm not going to scream it out here just to have respect for those people that are out here in the memorials. So have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll catch you on the next one. Remember, don't forget, keep that head on a swivel. Check that 6 every once in a while. Most importantly, don't forget to love somebody, especially after something tragic like this. We need all the love we can get in this world, man. I'm being dead serious. Love you guys as always. Peace.